Okay, I want us to look at this subtopic called the general solution. The topic explains itself. It's not a specific solution, but it's a general solution. It's under trigonometry, and it has got huge marks. The example that we'll be doing is about 6 marks in the exams. Now, when you do the general solution, it is vitally important that you think about graphs when you do it. The trigonometric graphs, the sine graph, the cosine graph, and the tan graph. Now, let's make an example before we go to the actual problem. If I have this solution, and I have this arm, I'm saying this angle is about 30 degrees. If I add another a 360 here, I will land on the same position. So it is not only 30 degrees that lies on this arm. If you add 360, 30 plus 360, it will be 390. Or if you subtract 360, you'll go back to the same position. So that's important. So there are so many, infinitely many solutions that lies on this arm. We're looking for the solution that will cover all of them. We call that the general solution. If so the solution will be 30 degrees plus the rotation, if it's sine and cos, plus 360. It depends on how many times did I rotate. And this k must be an element of integers, of z. Yeah. When you do these problems, whenever you find things like these ones, let me just sketch, to give you a rough sketch of what a sine graph will look like. This is what a normal sine graph will look like. Remember, this is 1, and this will be minus 1. This is what a cosine graph will look like. Remember, this will be 1, and this will also be minus 1. Look at the tan graph, how it generally looks like. Remember, we've got asymptotes at 90 and 270. So it's 9, 180, 270, 360. We also have asymptotes there. I just want to talk about this shape of a graph. It will go like that. It will go like this one. This is a typical tan graph. It will go that side, so it will show this side. Look at these three graphs. There are things that are important when you do the sine and the cosine graph. You will never find this graph above 1. You'll never find this graph below 1. So this graph is sketched between 1 and minus 1. So when you do the general solution and we find that sine x is 2, it will be above 1. So that one will not be defined because we're not going to find the graph there. It's exactly the same thing with this one and that one. It is drawn between 1 and minus 1. So if you find anything above that, you reject it because it will not be part of your solution. But when it comes to tan graph, remember this arrow says it's go up, so it can be anywhere with tan graph. It can be anything. So when I do this problem, I found the answer that is above 1 in cosine or in sine. I leave it. I can't find a solution. But here you continue because you'll be able to find a solution. I want us to look at the general solution now, how they ask for it in the exam. At times you might need to factorize when you're dealing with the general solution, like the problem that I picked up. But the ultimate aim is to isolate the ratio. If it's tan, I must have tan theta is equal to something. If it's cosine, I must have cos theta is equal to something. Then go to the reference angle there. This is what I'm given. I'm given that 6 cos x minus 5 is equal to 4 over cos x, where cos x is not equal to 0. This is accommodating this one because our dividing by 0 is undefined. Now, how do we get rid of this fraction? We're multiplying by cos x every term. All the term, let's multiply them by cos x and see what we get. We'll then have, if I multiply this by cos x, I will have 6 cos x minus, multiplied by cos x, it will be 5 cos x. Multiply this by cos x, that will go with this, will be left with 4. Take 4 this side, it will be minus 4 equal to 0. Why am I putting it this way? Oh, remember this is cos squared x because I multiplied by x. I can see a trinomial. My grade 8, grade 9 comes in handy. Don't be confused by the causes. People think that cos x makes it difficult. Let's do it this side so that you'll see what I'm trying to say to you. Because we need to factorize this. It is very easy. If you assume as if that is x, I will have, let me write it down, 6 x squared minus 5x minus 4 equal to 0. How do I factorize this? I open two sets of brackets. Factors of 6, it can be 6 and 1, it can be 3 and 2. Let me start with 3x and 2x. Right? Factors of 4, together with this, that will give me 5. But if I have 4 here, I will have 8. And 3, yes, that one will come, 4 and 1. The 4 must be negative, and the 3 must be positive. Right, these are the factors. And I know if I'm solving for x, so my x will be equals to what? 4 over 3, or x equals to minus 1 over 2. This is what I'll get at the end. Remember, I replaced cos x with x. So let's come and solve this one. It will be much more easier to factorize it. Remember, we've got 3 cos x this side. 3 cos x and 2 cos x. Factors of 4, of course, it is 4 and 1. We said this will be 8, must be negative. This one must be positive. This is what we have. The ultimate game is to isolate that cosine and have cos x equal to something. We're getting there. We now have, let's work this one out. It will be cos x is equals to 4 over 3, this side, isolated now, or cos x is equals to, take 1 that side, it's going to be minus 1 divided by 2 minus half. This is what we have. Remember what we said here. We said these two graphs, cosine and sine, are only found between 1 and minus 1. If you find anything above that, you reject it and you don't move on. Let us look at what we have. We've got cos x is equal to 4 over 3. What is 4 over 3? It is 1 comma something. Remember that 3 into 4 goes once, remainder 1 over 3. So this value here is above 1. It is above 1. So we're not going to find the solution to cosine. If we find any value which is above 1, look at this value, it is half. Yes, it is between 1 and minus 1. So we're going to accept the second one and reject the first one, because we cannot find the solution when it is above 1 or below 1. In this particular side, this is not applicable. We are not going to continue with this one, but we'll continue with that one. What is it that we have? We've got cos x, which is minus half. We've got cosine x, which is minus 1. That minus is giving me a quadrant. That minus will actually be giving me a quadrant. Let's look at it. Where is, all students take Coke. This becomes important. Where is cosine negative? It is positive here, it is positive here. So it is negative in this quadrant and in this quadrant. Remember on the general solution how we name these quadrants. Let me quickly write it here. The first quadrant we refer to it as theta. The second quadrant we refer to it as what? As 180 minus theta. The third quadrant is 180 degrees plus theta. This one is 360 minus theta. Remember, on the general solution, we don't use 90 and 270 like the normal trigonometry. When it comes to general solution, this quadrant is 180 minus, this one is 180 plus, and 360 minus. We said our solution is in which quadrant? It is in the second and the third quadrant. How do we refer to the third quadrant? It's 180 minus, and this minus will be my reference angle. As I was referring to this one as my reference angle earlier on. Now let's work this thing out. Cos x is equals to minus half. How do you find my reference angle? Because I know that my solution is in this quadrant and in this quadrant. How do I find that reference angle? I use the solution that I've solved to find the angle that I will refer on. How to solve it? You look for arc cos of half. X will then be equals to arc cos of half. You no longer put that minus there because minus was trying to tell you the quadrant where you'll find the solution. In this case, it is in the second and the third quadrant. We'll come back to that now. Let's quickly solve for this. Shift, cos 0,5, half, close this bracket. What is it? Oh, 60 degrees. The answer will be 60 degrees. This is our reference angle. Now, how do we write our solution now that we've got our reference angle? Our solution is equals to 180 minus, in fact, it's the second quadrant. It's going to be 180 degrees minus the reference angle. We refer to this as my reference angle, that I will refer it. It's 180 minus the reference angle, which is 60 degrees, plus 3, because it is sine and cos. When you deal with sine and cos, we'll talk about the period of it, which is 360. If it was this graph, tan graph, I was going to use the period of it, which is 180. Right, so this is 180 degrees, the quadrant first, where it, in fact, there are two. The first one, where it is negative, it is the second quadrant. You even tell the examiner which quadrant you are using, second quadrant. We'll also find the solution on the third quadrant, because it is negative in these two quadrants. I'm dealing with the second, we'll go to the third. 180 minus theta plus 360 k, where k is an element of z. This is what we write. Or our solution is also in which quadrant? In the third quadrant. So x in this particular case will be equals to, how do you refer to the third quadrant? It is 180 plus. So it is 180 degrees plus the theta. What is my theta in this particular case? It is 60 degrees plus the period plus 360 k, where k is an element of z. Remember, also is a general solution to that particular problem. And you need this information when you do the trigonometric graphs as well. It assists a lot. Let's do this thing. This then will be equal to x is equals to, what is 180 minus 60? It is 120 plus 360 k. That other side, or x will be equals to, what is 180 plus 60? It is 240 degrees plus 360 k. This is what we refer to it as a general solution, and it's part of your trigonometry. Thank you.